Chile to Ankara, a country located in the west of South America, stretching in a long and thin strait known for its rich cultural, historical, and natural wealth. I would like to thank him once again for accepting our invitation, Excellency. His Excellency Rodrigo ARCOS will deliver a speech titled Diplomacy and Foreign Policy today within the framework of the Public Diplomacy Program, a joint event of ANKASAM and Cappadocia University. He will probably mention it in his speech, but as far as we know, Turkey-Chile relations are witnessing a first in the context of America. Chile was the first country in America to recognize Turkey with the Treaty of Friendship dated 30 January 1926. In Santiago, there is the Republic of Turkey Square, Atatürk College, and an Atatürk monument. In 1930, the Turkish embassy in Chile was opened when the Turks rewarded the Chileans for officially recognizing their country in 1926. The Chilean embassy in Turkey was opened in 1941. In Turkey, there is a Chile Square with the Bernardo Higgins, monument inaugurated in Ankara on 18 September 1970. The Pablo Neruda Square in Turkey was inaugurated in 2007. And as far as we know, Turkish citizens holding official and public passports are exempt from visa for a period not exceeding 90 days. This can be considered as a strong sign of trust and friendship between the two countries. Without further ado, I would like to briefly mention the historical invitee of Ambassador Rodrigo ARCOS, who will deliver a speech titled Diplomacy and Foreign Policy. He graduated from the University of Chile, MA in International Studies, post-degree studies on economy and political relations on Southeast Asia, University of Cuba, diploma on international business, studies on history, foreign policy, and international relations at Georgetown University, Washington, D.C., diploma on public senior management at University Catholic of Chile, diploma for Chilean diplomacy. Third secretary, when we mentioned about his career background briefly, we can see him as the third secretary at the Embassy of Chile to Australia, second secretary at the Embassy of Chile to Japan, first secretary and counselor for political affairs at the Embassy of Chile to the United States, consul general in Shanghai, deputy chief of mission at the Embassy of Chile to Brazil. In the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Chile, has served as a desk officer for Japan and Pacific Affairs at the Asia-Pacific Division, diplomatic assistant of the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Office, diplomatic assistant of the Minister of Foreign Affairs Office, chief of staff of the Director General of Administrative Affairs at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, deputy director for North America, Central America, and Caribbean Affairs, deputy director and acting director for South American Affairs. He knows English, Japanese, Chinese Mandarin, Portuguese at different levels. He's married with Mrs. Margarita. So welcome, Mrs. Margarita. And he has got 3 children. As usual, our audience can ask their questions via the WhatsApp number that will be indicated on the screen, as well as our friends in the hall can ask questions by introducing themselves after the program. Those who didn't have the opportunity to watch today's event, which we believe will make an important contribution to the literature, can watch it in YouTube after the program. The floor is now given to His Excellency Rodrigo ARCOS. Please, Excellency. Okay.
Well, thank you very much for your kind introduction. But nothing of everything you said matters in the field of diplomacy. Diplomacy is experience and doing your job when you are abroad. And I was thinking during the preparation of this presentation, what to deliver. I will let you know my opinion on diplomacy and foreign policy. It's my personal view and how to deal with these two issues. First, I'd like to please one. You don't have the control here, no? It's here? Ah, okay, I got it. It was me, sorry. First, I'd like to talk about Chilean foreign policy. You know, the foreign policy in Chile is conducted by the President of the Republic and is implemented by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and all the other ministers and ministries. So, but the principles of our foreign policy are respect international law, the rule of law is very important, the promotion of democracy and respect for human rights, and responsibility to cooperate. So we are not alone, we have to work together and we have to respect principles. These principles are the essential guidelines that uphold and give coherence to decisions adopted by Chile in international relations. That's the main purpose of our activities abroad. But if we go to the priorities of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as I said, the President is in charge of conducting the foreign policy, but the Ministry of Foreign Affairs implemented. And what are the priorities? Fostering new alliances, promoting values, maximizing political dialogue, promotion and strengthening of the growth agenda, and commitment to climate change, protection of oceans, and conservation of Antarctica. Let me start here for one moment. Maximizing the political dialogue in the region, in the Latin American region, is a very important because we act abroad together and we have to do it together. It's sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's difficult because we have different views or we have different political positions. But Chile, as a principle, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is promoting the dialogue and strengthening the growth agenda. That is good for everybody, for all countries, and committing to climate change, protection, ocean, and conservation of Antarctica. Chile has one of the largest protection areas in the ocean. So we have protected areas in the ocean, and now we are promoting Chile and one city in the coast of Chile in the Pacific as the secretariat for the BBNG, the Treaty for Beyond Border National Jurisdiction to protect environment where it's land, there is no owner. So we have to protect that area as a common part of our principle. You know, we have to protect where you protect what's your own, your economic zone, your next 200 miles. But what happened after 200 miles? That part should be protected, and we are committed to protect it. And we are promoting one city of Chile as the secretariat for for that agreement. That's a degree of commitment that we have. Maybe you already know, because most of you are in the foreign policy and political science and geography. You know about geography, but Chile is a tricontinental country. So we have in South America, continental. We are some island in the Oceanian area, and we also reclaim some land in the Antarctica. We also refer to our country as an island. It's not an island itself, but we call it an island because we are isolated. In the north of Chile, we have desert, very dry desert, the driest desert in the world, 30 years without a drop of water. So we have a desert in the north. Nothing comes through the desert, not pests and not problems to our economy or to our agriculture industry. And in our east, we have the Andes Mountains. Some part of the Andes Mountain, we have more than 6,000 meters high. So nothing cross the Andes easily. In the south, we have Antarctica, we have ice. And on our west, we have the ocean. So at the end, you have a land surrounded by desert, mountains, ice, and water. So that's why we call it, and we have this image of an island. And that is very important because we are a food producer. We have a very strong commitment on food security. We produce food for the world, and very safe, and not in a quantity and in a quality that is requested by markets in Europe, in Turkey, of course, in Asia, in Asia Pacific, in United States, Canada, all over Latin America. So we are food exporter, and not just fruits or vegetables, but also fish, seafood, walnuts, hazelnuts, and many other products. Chile is the longest country in the world if you measure north to south, or more 4,000 kilometers. You know, it's very, very long. And our continental area is quite similar to Turkey. You know, Turkey has 740,000 square kilometers. Yeah, Turkey is a little bit bigger, but we are quite similar because we have 756,000 square kilometers. But our coastline is more than 6,000 kilometers. So you measure all the coastal line. So we are located in the southwest part of South America, and our borders, the main border is with Argentina, but we also have border with Bolivia and Peru. About Chile, well, population in Chile date more than 18,000 years. Ferdinand Magellan, that the name of the Strait of Magellan is under his name, crossed the Magellan Strait in 1520. And it's a very interesting story related with Turkey, because after the Ottoman Empire took over Constantinople, Byzantium, all the routes for the Europeans to the east were closed. So they start looking a way to go to India, or that part of the world, searching a passage to the west. And then Magellan found this strait. He didn't know, he crossed it. He also named the Pacific Ocean, because after crossing the Magellan Strait, that was very difficult. He found that the Pacific Ocean was very pacific for his journey. So there is a link between that Ottoman Turkey with Chile, because Magellan and his crew was the first European who saw the land that actually has the name of Chile. Well, the Spaniards came, they have a general competency in Chile. Colonial period lasts to 1810, when we start our wars of independence, and we established independence in 1818. And since then, more than 200 years, we have been an independent republic. And macro statistics, well, we have 20 million. You are 4 times bigger than in population than Chile. Our GDP last year was 2.8. Turkey, I think, was 3.5 or more, around that. GDP per capita, Chile has more than $17,000. Inflation was very low, 4% if you compare with Turkey inflation. Unemployment 8.4. Foreign direct investment more than 11 billion, and our foreign trade is we depend a lot on foreign trade. We're very open. Chile is one of the countries with more free trade agreements in the world. Our network of foreign the free trade agreement is the biggest. We have 80% of our trade is covered by a free trade agreement, and the first free trade agreement and the only full free trade agreement that Turkey has with a country in America is with Chile. We signed it in 2009. It's working since 2011. So we have covered almost all over the world our trade with the free trade agreement. That nowadays become very important. If you relate this with the principles of our foreign policy to promote democracy and rule of law, and also the free trade, are the key part of the discussions nowadays in foreign policy, because of the actual situation of the world. Recently, last week, the last Human Development Index was issued by the United Nations, and we were assigned in a position of a very high in human development index. You know, in terms of we are in the world, we are in the position 45th. And why is that? Because we have a very long the expectancy of life, more than 80 years. Our population lives longer than any other country in the region, in Latin America. The level of education, the average of education in Chile is more than 11 years. If you consider that the compulsory education is 12 years, so 8 and 4 high school. We have the highest rate of education in the region, and one of the biggest and the highest in the world. And also, I told you that our per capita income, it's about more than 17,000. If we do if we consider the purchase power that is adjusted in each country, it will be more than $28,000. That's one of the highest also in the region. If you combine the income, the education, and health and expectancy, then you have a very high level index of human development in the region. Okay, at this moment, I just spoke about Chilean foreign policy. I've said nothing about diplomacy. I was speaking with your director and the head of this program, and I say I want to make a provocation in terms of saying that foreign policy and diplomacy are two things. Work together, but it's not the same thing. So what I do is diplomacy, and what we call public diplomacy, I will call it public foreign policy, because diplomacy has strict rules and is made by diplomats with their counterpart that also are foreign officials, diplomats. So you can call it defense diplomacy, cultural diplomacy, foreign policy diplomacy, but it's not right, in my view. And I will tell you why. The four cores of principles of diplomacy are negotiation, communication, building relationship, and promoting interests. These principles serve as foundation for effective diplomacy interaction, facilitating peaceful resolution of conflict and promoting international cooperation. Diplomacy is often confused with foreign policy, but the terms are not synonymous. Diplomacy is the main instrument of foreign policy, which is set by political leaders through diplomats. Foreign policy establishes goals, prescribes strategies, and set a broad of tactics used by the for the accomplishment. Unlike foreign policy, we generally enunciated most diplomacy is conducted in confidence. However, its progress and results are almost always made public in contemporary international relations. And here lies the confusion, because we do not work in secrecy. We work in confidence. And when we rise or get a result, we make this result public. I was listening some days ago a conference made by the Minister of Foreign Affairs. I forgot to move this. Of Russia, Mr. Sergei Lavrov, and everybody was asking, all the journalists were asking him, what the point you have already agreed for the peace process. And he said, we are conducting this negotiation face-to-face with our counterpart, and when everything is ready, you will know, not before. Because if it's not everything agreed, nothing is agreed. So foreign policy, the Russian foreign policy, the Chilean foreign policy, the United States foreign policy, is set of goals, and we make it, public. But how we do it, how we negotiate, how we met, and when, and how we translated our interest and promoted to the counterpart. That's diplomacy, and we made that in a way that we don't make it public. We made public the results, and that is our foreign policy. That's what it said at the end of the paragraph. Public diplomacy mistakenly refers to government-sponsored programs intended to inform or implement the countries. The chief instruments are publication, motion pictures, cultural exchange, radio, and television. But that is public relation, for me, public awareness, but not diplomacy. The term public diplomacy was developed in the 60s to distance the work we do from the term propaganda, because propaganda has a very negative meaning. So the public diplomacy acquired a different meaning from public affairs. Public affairs are aimed to convey messages to domestic audiences. Yeah. Its aim was to inform and influence overseas audiences in advancing foreign policy goals. So it's foreign policy, public foreign policy. And that's worrying me, because the concept now is used by NGOs, by companies, by many supranational organizations, and everybody's talking about public diplomacy. This is public diplomacy. No, this is not public diplomacy. That's your way of promoting your interest, your company, your goals as an NGO or as an international organization. Okay, and how we transfer that to the relation with Turkey? We were talking about that Chile was the first country in America, one of the first in the world, to recognize the Republic of Turkey at the beginning of 1926. We are already celebrating, trying to commemorate that day. At the beginning, there was okay, you can see there, Chile-Turkey, 100 years of diplomatic relations. That is our image for promoting this year activities. And what I'm doing here now is promoting our foreign policy and promoting our celebration of the 100 years of relation with Turkey. So we established consular relations because there was a big number of Ottoman citizens arriving to Chile at the end of the early 20th century. We have in Chile the biggest community from Palestine outside the Middle East, for example. But we have Lebanese, Palestinians, Syrians, people from Jordania, from all the Ottoman Empire that went to Chile at that time. So for that reason, we established a consular agreement before the end of the Ottoman Empire. So, and then we went the first one to establish diplomatic relations in 1926. You already know that Turkey was the first embassy in South America was established by Turkey in Santiago in 1930. We opened our embassy in Ankara in 1941. So we had been in Ankara for 84 years. And we were the first Latin American embassy in Ankara. When I say that, we were the first in recognize the Turkish Republic, the first to establish an embassy in Ankara, the first to establish, to sign a free trade agreement. I'm promoting my Chilean foreign policy in Turkey. How we did it, when we did it, who did it, that diplomacy. Okay, in Chile, the Chile Square was established in 1970, the Republic of Chile School also. In Ankara, we signed at first an agreement for Joint Cooperation Committee and the Free Trade Agreement. And promoting the activities in all areas. How is translated in latest year? After discussion and after many visits to Turkish airline officials, executives, and after they did all the business calculus for the rent, if profitable or not and everything, they decided to open the flight to Santiago, Chile, in December last year. And I don't know if you know this, but Turkish Airlines is the airline who fly to more countries in the world. Chile was the 131 country that Turkish Airlines is flying now. Actually, in Santiago, there was the Guinness record people waiting for the plane to give to the CEO of Turkish Airlines a diploma recognizing that Turkish Airlines is the airline who flies to more countries in the world and more destinies, more than 300 destinies in the world. It is very important. Because that with the airline comes people, comes trade, come investment, and closer relation. So this, I would like to highlight this because it was a very important goal that we made last year. Of course, there is a business. Turkish Airlines moved, as a company, they have to be profitable. But also, we need to promote that and tell them that it's a good business to go to Chile. And now I think the flights are full, and the number of Chilean visitors or using this route has doubled from last year. We are surpassing pre-COVID numbers of visitors. So it's a win-win situation. Our Minister of Foreign Affairs visited a month ago, Turkey. He was in Ankara and Istanbul. And we had the second joint cooperation committee. This is a milestone because there was not doing for many years. And we restart the process. And I know that Turkey is going to establish more of these joint committees in the near future. But we'd like to move forward our agenda. We're commemorating the 100-year diplomatic relation. We are modernizing our FDA. And we are also participating in promoting Turkish food and Turkish cuisine, because for promoting Chile, we have to promote Turkey. It's a win-win situation. We have to do it together. We have to feel that we are winners. Both sides, we are winners. And as I said, and by the way, the Turkish cuisine week that they filmed it going to be aired at the end of this month. So if you like to watch it, how we peel a tomato or a potato and cook together with a chef, you can watch, and you will learn more about Chile and many other things I've been saying here. I said it also in the program. So that's my main point in terms of saying that foreign policy is the business of the government of the country, but it's conducted by diplomats. If you would like to take in the future the steps to be a diplomat, a Turkish diplomat, it depends on you as a diplomat to promote your country. And public diplomacy is a term that it will be very difficult to fight against because it's already in the head of many, many people. But for me, it's public foreign policy and diplomat to diplomacy. Thank you. Thank you very much for listening. There's one here.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Excellency. Yeah, our dear students, have you got any questions to ask our master? Yes, please. Please take microphone. Only one?
No, there will be more.
We need another one, I think. Yeah, it's there. Okay.
But
just a minute, please.
Another microphone.
Okay.
No, I will do it here.
Okay.
So, by the way, I like to explain that image. So, Chile, Turkey, 100 years, but the flower on the right, is the Turkish flower, And the flower on the left is the national flower of Chile. It's called copihue. It's grown in the south cold forest of Chile, and it's a flower of one of our main indigenous group population, the Mapuches. The name copihue is from the language. So it's the national flower of Chile and the national flower of Turkey together, celebrating the 100 years. So
Brother of flowers.
Yeah.
Brotherhood of flowers. Brotherhood. Yeah. Yeah.
The flower brotherhood.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Yes.
Me llamo Mesa, estudiante de la English Tradición, esta universidad, y aprendiendo español desde hace 3 meses.
Wow.
No muy bien. But,
I've been 4 years here, and my Turkish is not as good as the Spanish.
Una pregunta para ti. La Embajada de Chile, una actividad para popularizar español en Turquía. Gracias.
Well, we are doing some activities in both sides, in promoting Chilean authors, writers. You know, Chile has 2 Nobel Prizes, both in literature. One is Gabriela Mistral. She got the Nobel Prize in 1945, and the second one is Pablo Neruda, who got it in 1971, both in literature. So we are promoting them not just as writers and Nobel Prize, but also they were diplomats. They were consuls and ambassadors, and we are, promoting the authors and also translating those authors in Turkish and Spanish, both versions in the book. In 2021 or 22, the government has a program. Mrs. Erdogan has a program that was named "No School Without Libraries," and we make for us a very big contribution that we donate more than 1,200 books, the Chilean literature, to the school of Turkey. I know that there is more than 8,000 schools in Turkey. It's not enough, but we try to promote language. Every year in October, we had in Istanbul a fair of Latin American countries promoting our writers. And in the last 3 years, we have published 4 books from contemporary writers, promoting their books in Turkish, in Turkish in Turkey, translated. So in a program that is supporting the editorial. So we are promoting not just the language, but also to know our culture through the literature. So we're trying. Gracias.
Bueno, bienvenido, señor embajador. Yo soy estudiante de doctorado en la Universidad de Capadocia en las Ciencias Políticas y Relaciones Internacionales, y son mis profesores, señor Seyfettin, Erol y Zapatos está ahí.
Why I did the speech in English? I couldn't have it in Spanish.
No, voy a traducirlo después de explicarlo. Yo tengo 2 preguntas. La primera pregunta es que Turquía y Chile en el año 2009 suscribieron un acuerdo de libre comercio entre 2 países, pero los indicadores del volumen de comercio hasta 2022 sube y después se ve una disminución hasta este año. ¿Y a qué factores atribuye usted? Quería saber. Es la primera.
Y la segunda. The second?
La segunda, después de la guerra Pacífico, tiene un problema fronterizo con Bolivia y con Perú sobre la zona económica exclusiva. Lo voy a traducir lento.
What's the question?
¿Tiene un problema Chile?
No, we had. Okay.
Aha.
I got it. Translated.
Hocam 2009 yılında Şili ve Türkiye serbest ticaret anlaşması imzaladı. 2022 yılına kadar ticaret hacmi artış gösterdi. Ancak 2022'den sonraki düşüşü hangi faktörlere bağlıyorsunuz? Birinci soruydu. İkinci soru da Pasifik Savaşı'ndan sonra Şili'nin Bolivya ile sınır problemi var mı? Ve münhasır ekonomik bölge problemi Peru'yla var mı, devam ediyor mu diye soruyorum.
Bir de az önceki arkadaşın sorusunu bunu deşifre eden arkadaşlar açısından bir tercüme edersen kısaca ne sormuştu az önce?
Hayır, ben ülke olarak Türkiye'de hani İspanyolca geliştirmek adına yaptıkları etkinlikler.
Hocam yani zaten Türkçe söylediğini anlamıştır ama şimdi çevirmeye.
Okay.
¿Qué actividades tienen para desarrollar el idioma español en Turquía?
Sí. No, sí, eso fue lo que conversamos. We already spoke about
Yok,
that.
kayda geçsin de deşifre edilirken arkadaşlar. Evet.
Well, first, we signed the only free trade agreement that Turkey has with American country up to now. I mean, comprehensive free trade agreement that includes all. And we already we are working in expanding and trying to promote it more. But after the 2009, we start, increasing our 2011, increasing our level of trade. But since 2016, and then when COVID arrived, we have a decrease of trade, very, very strong. One thing is that Turkey start getting the main product that we export to Turkey, that's copper, from Central Asia. It's closer, cheaper to get it from Central Asia to Turkey than from Chile to here. So that the two reasons for that is the international economy downgrade, and also Turkey changed the supplier of copper. But we are now getting more other products, more food, more wine, more fish or seafood, and more other industrial or mining products. Still not the same level before the COVID, but we are going up. But mainly for those two reasons: in the international and economical situation, all the countries start to try to export more and import less. And Chile, Turkey, all the countries want to export more, but import less. And we are very close, and we have very good relation with the Turkey government and trade ministry and foreign affairs ministry. And we have established that we have a very big potential, but we have to work together to see which areas and which product we can, and two things that I didn't say in the presentation. In the last 3 years, there is 3 or 4 or 5 companies from Turkey in Chile, established in Chile. So it's not just staff, but the airport administration is in Chile, administrating airports in Chile. Balsu is producing hazelnut in central South Chile. Waikiki, this shop, established a store in Chile. Aselsan, that is a service and defense industry company, established an office in Chile. So now we are trying to promote investment and production together in Turkey. So that's another thing. First question. Second, we faced a war due to the nitrate in the north of Chile against, it was the third one. We had 2 previous ones, but the third one was in 1878, 79 to 80, 83. But it was a confederation between Bolivia and Peru against Chile. Chile defeated both countries. And as it were in those times, we took over the land that we were fighting for. Okay. Bolivia signed the agreement, treaty, the Congress approved the treaty and everything. Peru were the same. And in the latest year, we have some issues in the International Court of Justice, and they were settled. We had no more problems, neither with Peru nor with Bolivia, related with borders. So that was settled before, and the International Court of Justice gave us our, went to our favor. There is a small, like, tree size of football stadium, that kind of land that, well, I don't want to get into the details because it's too technical and you can make a lot of mistakes. It's not my expertise, but we have to solve small issues, mainly from Peru side, but we have no borders dispute at this moment. That was settled.
Nice. Is there any other question? Yeah. I hope it is in English.
Yeah, I have.
Thank you very much.
What means the strategy?
Wait for microphone.
For the
Okay.
for the record.
Yeah. Okay.
My name is Asif.
That's it. Nice to meet
I
you.
study here public administration and political science. And my question is, what means strategic communications? We also heard that often.
Strategic communication. Well, this is you can face that in two ways. How you do it, how you confront, your counterpart. You have to have, a strategy. What you want, how you want to promote it, how you establish confidence. You have to set a strategy for that. But also you have to have the strategy to promote it. So it's like a plan. And the wording is very important. The thinking is very important. But also the implementation is very important. So it's you're studying political science and public administration. It's a key issue. How you're going to explain what you do or what the people needs to your clients, the people who need your service. That's the closest I can get to your question. In terms of you need a strategic communication strategy to sell your product. I will put it in business words. You need to sell your product. Sometimes your product is you. Sometimes the product is what you do.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
In Chinese. No?
Please take the microphone. Yeah. Maybe from Central Asia. Not Chinese.
I wonder about how was.
What is your name?
I'm Sıla.
Ela.
Sıla.
Yeah.
Sıla.
Yeah.
Salah.
Yeah.
Sıla from Anatolia.
Anatolia, yes. Near Istanbul, I know.
Yeah. How was the progress of being diplomat?
Oh, good question.
How was it?
Well, it's a process. It's not something you come with it. So you in Chile you have to apply for the foreign service, school, and you have 2 years. You have to study 2 years in the diplomatic academy. After graduated, you start working at the ministry for 2 years, and then you start going abroad and back to Chile, because you have to have sometimes you have to refresh your values and your knowledge of what is happening in your country, because many times I come back to Chile and the people are singing songs that I don't know, talking about actors that I have no idea, or speaking with words that I haven't here because I've been abroad for 3, 4, 5 years. But the main issue is that you have to represent your country and you have to have very strong connection with the values, the principles, and your country promote. And then you start moving in the ladder, is first secretary, second, first counselor. Nobody knows what a counselor do or minister counselor. The only thing that people know is what the consul do and the ambassador do. But when you say, I'm second secretary of the embassy in Japan,
Yeah.
so how many secretaries you have? You're the second. No, that's my level. No. So we have to promote more that, but what we do for the country, for the state. In terms of we represent what is your country in total, not part of your country, not some people or some groups or some political party. You represent your country, and that's the most important part. You have heard about we have some how you call it. We cannot be prosecuted. We cannot be put in jail. If you commit a crime, we are safe. You say, yeah, but that's a burden. That's a heavy pressure in our shoulder because you have to conduct your business and you have to be a diplomat 24 hours a day. If I go somewhere, I'm the ambassador of Chile. If I had a car accident, it's not me who crashed the car. It's the ambassador of Chile who crashed the car. You see, so to be a diplomat is difficult if you do it well. You can do it as you want, but you want to be a good diplomat? It's hard. It's hard because you have to be aware of your surrounding and what you do and how you behave and everything. But at the end, it's natural. You don't have to do it because it's come with you. But at the first stages, you have to learn, and you learn by experience. You cannot jump stages.
How was your experience in Shanghai, by the way? I want to know that.
Shanghai, well, when I was in Shanghai, it was 10 years ago. We were in Shanghai 10 years ago. It was an amazing city. It's like, there is a movie, it's called Xi, and it was filmed in Shanghai because they filmed, as it were, 2050, because it looks like the future. But also in China, that is 5,000 years culture. So it's a very good mixture of things and very important. My constituency, because I was a consul general and I have 4 provinces. If you sum 4 provinces, were 220 million people living in those 4 provinces. And was in Shanghai. Shanghai was 16, 18 millions, like Istanbul. But it's also hard. You need to know the language. Everywhere I went, almost everywhere, I tried to learn the language to communicate and know more the people. But it's been very hard for me to learn Turkish. I don't know. I try very hard, but I know basic things. But I should learn more. Thank you.
Okay.
Xie.
Shishi. Shishi, no. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
So my name is Dinas. I'm second grade international relations, and my question is: what was the main reason for Ottoman Middle Eastern people to choose Chile for their final destination?
Very political problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Okay. At the end of the Ottoman Empire, there was a very large number of citizens of the empire who moved away from the region. In the case of Chile, we got many people from Palestine, Lebanon, Syria.
Yeah.
And the first they came to Chile, established, and they start calling their family or friends from same towns in Palestine. So it was a huge group, and they were very welcome. And they established stores for selling fabrics and other textile products in all small towns north and south of Chile. So in every town and every city, you have a turco, and if you have a turco, you have fabrics, and you have clothes, and they became very well assimilated to the country. In Chile, we have it's not my team, but it's very popular. Palestino is a soccer team, it's a football team that is almost 100 years old team, with the colors green, white, and yellow, and red. Sorry, red, white, and green. With and the name is Palestino, so they are very well assimilated, and they came in the latest stage of the empire with Ottoman passport. So that's why we call, and not just Chile, all in the region. Even if the people is from Syria or from Jordan or from Palestine, we call Turcos. So Turcos is like all the denomination for all people who came, families came from this area. And we have a very strong relation with Palestine, and we support very much Palestine.
Two-state solution is one of them is two-state solution.
Yeah. Well, the same policy is, two-state solution, 1967 borders. That political, position of Chile in terms of.
I think it was
Three questions from online audience.
There's people watching online.
From the hall,
You have the microphone there, no?
Mm-hmm. Later, there are some questions from our WhatsApp. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Can ask.
My name is Emre.
Emre.
Second grade of translation and interpreting. My question is, what's the main security threat against Chile?
Chile.
Chile.
Security threat?
Against
Yeah.
Chile.
I think our biggest concern is related with the instability, international instability. So we are a very open country. As I said, we have 80% of our trade linked with free trade agreement. So for us, as I said, democracy, rule of law, and free trade are the most important and core of our foreign policy. So to keep the trade and to keep the international system working is our main concern, and we are working to keep it like that with Turkey, with other countries, and not to take sides. For example, Chile trade with the United States is 16%. With China is 40%. So we have to work and support any activity that keep the system working, because we need those countries stable and open, and we can trade with them. Our products are mainly, very important because it's food. So it's not something that you can get rid of easily. You need food. So the market will be open, but the price will be very high, or the tariff will higher. We have a free trade agreement with the United States. We have zero tariff, even though the government of the United States applied 10% of tariff to us. Why? We haven't done anything. We have free trade agreement. You are investment in Chile. We have trade with you. So we have the main concern is not a defense or security concern. It's more related with the rule of law, the democracy, and the open market.
Thank you.
Okay. Mikrofonu iletebilirsiniz. Şöyle öne doğru. Oradan biri daha soru soracak ama artık çok soru. Ne dersin
Var
Şafak?
mı bir soru? Son soruyu alalım isterseniz.
Son soru. It is the last from the hall. Yeah.
My name is Burhan.
Burhan.
Can you tell me about ethnicity in the Chile in the past?
About what?
Ethnicity.
Ethnicity. I can tell you ethnicity now. For example, we have about 10% of indigenous population, Mapuches or Rapa Nui, Aymaras in the north. Easter Island, Easter Island with the Moais, that's Chile also, that part. And the population of Easter Island, we call Rapa Nui, and Rapa Nui. And the other big group is a combination of European and locals that arrived since the 16th century. They were Europeans from Spain or England or Italy, France, Germany. We have a huge migration from Germany at the end of 19th century, for example, Italian. So it's a mixture, European style, very look-alike. It's not different. And now we have immigrant is also about 8 or 9%, being the main groups of Venezuelans, Peruvians, Argentinians, Colombian. But we are mixture. We were formed by immigration.
Okay.
Thank you.
Öne iletebilirsin onu. Sevdin mikrofonu.
What I do with this?
Okay, you
Yes,
can
yes.
ask your questions,
My
please.
questions, but I will ask just two of them.
Yeah.
Online audience. Maybe you replied the first one. They are asking about defense industry of Chile. Second question, there has been a struggle around Greenland, and they are asking if there is any struggle to control Antarctica in Southern America or maybe globally.
I first one, I understand the defense industry, and the second one is there is
Any struggle to control the Antarctica?
I think you asked Chile's position in this crisis.
Yes.
in the
Yeah.
Antarctica issue or Arctic.
The Arctic.
No.
Mr. Trump's
Okay.
Greenland, Yeah.
Yeah.
Ama kuzeyde öbürü güney.
Yes, Antarctica. Yes.
Yeah, Antarctica.
Yeah. First, defense industry. We have we have a national operating companies that are linked with the army in terms of producing small things that we have with the Navy. The Navy also has some. They made some ships for
Coastal ships.
coastal ship, but also for research and not a big scale of it. I would like to link it with Turkey because we are having a more close relation with Turkey in terms of defense industry, but in the area not of in the area of technology and transference of knowledge. but we're not buying weapons or some guns or something. More is technology for repairing or for upgrading systems. And that's an area what we are very, very much interested in Turkey, because also there is a transfer of technology. It's not just selling the product, but also teaching and moving things. That has been working very, very, very good. The second one, well, the Arctic and the Antarctic continent areas have different rules. Arctic has no rules. They have some, claims of land, and then Canada, Russia, all the countries have. Okay. And there's the interest of the Arctic is the shipment. The routes of it's easier to come from China through the Arctic to the other countries than go down to South Africa or down in Chile or everywhere. Go like the airplanes. The airplanes go over the Arctic when they go, because it's easier. That is the main concern in Arctic. It's also the minerals and who owns the land, the water. The Antarctic is completely different. We have a treaty that's frozen. That's very good word. The claims. So we have overlapping claims from some areas of the Antarctica, but it's not allowed to conduct military or mining or other activities in Antarctica. It's a peaceful continent. So, and there is no decision when the continent will be unfrozen in terms of the treaty, because it will be a mess. I don't know.
I think end of the program. And so we are very grateful to Your Excellency.
Thank you very much
for his wonderful speech and for his contribution to our program. Also, thanks for you, our dear children, for your contributions. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Büyükelçimizle fotoğraf çekmek